Hello out there, ghouls and goblins, and welcome back to the final episode of A Coward Watches. It's your buddy Ryan, aka The Coward, and we did it. We made it through 15 horror movies this October. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of you for sticking with me. I'm proud of me for sticking with it. And today, we're looking at the movie that my panel of experts said was the most terrifying of them all, Sinister. And folks, I gotta tell you, this movie has everything. Spooky Banksy, the Wish.com version of The Crow, Maya Hawke's dad, emancipated minors, and America's least funny home videos. This movie begins with writer Ellison Oswalt and his family, his wife and his 2 kids, moving into a house where a murder happened. 4 family members were hung, and a little girl is still missing. But the thing is, only Ellison knows that. The rest of his family is clueless about it. You see, Ellison's a true crime writer, and he's working on a book about this murder. 10 years previously, he had a big hit called Kentucky Blood. Since then, he's been struggling, including one book where wrong information that he included got someone killed. So he's trying really hard to have another hit book and to get everything right. Minutes after they show up to move in, the local sheriff comes by and basically warns him he doesn't want any crap or any bad talk about the local police in his book. On his first night in the house, he finds an old 8mm projector and film reels up in the attic. And they have titles like Pool Party, Yard Work. When he watches these film reels, he realizes they're footage of the family that was killed at his home and families killed in other locations. Each one has creepy footage of the family beforehand and then their murders being filmed. And the titles are sick plays on what happens. The one called Pool Party is a family that was drowned. The one called Yard Work is a family that was run over with a lawnmower. In each of these videos, he notices a strange symbol that's painted on the wall and a man there with a black and white face. In order to find more information, he starts working with a local deputy and a professor of the occult at the local college. The professor is able to tell him that the symbol is connected to an ancient pagan deity named Bagul, and Bagul is an eater of children. Apparently, he traps them in his netherworld and eats their energy. In their house, more and more crazy things are happening. The projector will turn on by itself at night and start playing these videos. His daughter starts seeing one of the little girls who was missing from one of these cases, and she actually paints her on the wall. One night, Ellison crawls into the attic and he sees Bagul and all these dead children from these cases sitting, watching the projector, watching the murders. They turn and look at him. He's had enough. He takes the camera, the film, he takes it out to his fire pit and burns it and tells his wife, "We've got to get out of here. We're leaving tonight." And they do. They leave town. They move back to where they used to live. And when they get there, he receives some information from both the professor and the deputy. The professor sends more info on Bagul. He says that ancient Christians would try to destroy images of Bagul because they believe that is how he sucked children into his world. And the deputy tells him that every one of these murders was connected, in that the family that was murdered had lived in the previous family's house, been driven out, and when they moved away, they were killed. So now he knows that since his family moved away from the place where that last killing happened, he's put a target on their backs. Here's a sound up in the attic. He goes there and finds a box. It has the projector and the movies that he destroyed, as well as an extra reel of film called Bonus Endings. He watches that footage and he finds out that each of the killings was carried out by the child that was missing. Bagul apparently possesses them and forces them to kill their families. And just as he discovers this, he's drinking his coffee and he notices he's feeling woozy. He looks down and he sees a note from his daughter who always brings him his coffee, and it says, "Good night, Daddy." He falls unconscious. When he wakes up, he's tied and bound with his wife and his son. His daughter is there with a camera filming everything and an axe in her hand. We cut away. They're dead. And the walls are painted with their blood. And we cut up to the attic. And the box is there with all the film reels in it, but there's an extra one. And it says, "House Painting 2012. End of movie." If you've been following along, you know that we give every movie here 2 ratings. One for quality and one for horror. Quality, Was it a good movie? Horror, did it make me piss my pants? And folks, I gotta tell you, this one was a good movie, but a little disappointing. So for quality, I'm gonna give it a 3. And the reason I say disappointing is that the premise of this movie and the monster character in it are really intriguing and I think cool. And the idea of finding this footage and trying to put together what happened and how these cases were connected by this writer working with the deputy and the professor and stuff, it was a good idea. The bones of a great movie are there, but this turned out to just be an okay movie. My biggest problem with it was that you may have noticed I didn't say much about his wife, his kids, the deputy, the sheriff, the professor, because other than the main character played by Ethan Hawke wonderfully, and his acting was great in this, everyone else just feels like a paper cardboard cutout that was there to fulfill a role and move the plot along. They don't feel like real characters. His wife oscillates between, I am the plucky wife who supports you, and we've got to get out of here. That's literally her only 2 emotions. There's nothing else to her. We don't learn anything about her, her jobs, her interests, their relationship. There's nothing there. It's all surface level. What about his kids? His daughter likes to paint on the walls. His son has night terrors. That's it. There's no more details about him. There's no in-depth interactions with them. We don't get a real feeling for their relationships and how they relate to each other as a family. They don't really feel like a family. If these were more well-rounded characters, I think this could have been a fantastic film. Instead, it was pretty good, not great. When it comes to horror, though, I gotta go for a 4, and that's because this one is very scary. There's good jump scares, children that are being possessed to kill their families and things. It's a very disturbing idea. And the monster, the Bagul, the boogeyman guy, is very creepy, monster looking, very cool. And we don't see him a lot. He's sort of built up as a boogeyman, as the kids, the missing kids call him. And especially effective is their use of light and dark. A lot of this film is dark, but not in the muddy sort of way where you can't see it, but where it's intentionally kept dark. So when something pops out, or when you think something's going to pop out, it really plays up the tension and plays with your emotions. So while it's not a great movie, it is a very scary movie. Overall, it gets a 7, which is a high ranking, but it's not going to make it the winner of the season of A Coward Watches. Thank you for watching along with me throughout this season, but it's not quite over. There's going to be a bonus episode out later this week. I'm going to take all the tabulations, all the ratings, and give them to you, show you what was the scariest movie, what was the highest quality movie, and what was the overall winner. And just my feelings on this experiment and watching 15 horror movies, something I haven't watched 15 horror movies in the last 2 decades, cramming them all into a month. How did that feel? How has my opinions on horror changed? And all that good stuff. Plus, if these videos have been your first introduction to me and my channel, this channel started off several years ago as a way for me to lose weight and get better mental health. And we're bringing it back. I'm attempting to lose weight and get my mind right again. And it's going to be a brand new series called Ryan Gets Less Fat.
Ryan gets less fat. Oh, yeah.
Friday, November 11th will be the debut episode and will be coming out every Friday thereafter. I sincerely hope you'll join me. It'll be a fun time. It'll be a funny time and hopefully an inspiring time. So watch for that wrap-up special. Watch for the new series coming your way and maybe some little funny skits and other stuff I decide to do. Whatever this crazy brain can think of, I'm going to send your way so we can have a little fun in this messed up world. And folks, at the end of the day, I want you to remember, it doesn't matter if you're investigating a family hanging in a tree or you're just hanging here with me. You are dead sexy.